Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English in Fluency. I am your host, Alex, and I am so glad you are here with me today for a brand new listening practice session. We have a very exciting and deep topic to explore together today, something that truly changes the way you hear English. Today, we are going to talk about linking sounds. You might be wondering what exactly that means. Or perhaps you have heard of it, but you are not sure how to use it yourself. Well, you are in the right place. This is B1 English listening practice, and we are going to focus on how to notice linking sounds in spoken English, so that you can understand natural speech much more easily. This is a superpower for your ears, so get comfortable, grab a cup of tea or coffee, and let's get started. Imagine for a moment that you are watching your favorite American movie, or maybe a British television series. The actors are speaking, the story is moving fast, and everyone seems to be having a great time. But for you, it sometimes feels like the words are melting together. You know the vocabulary, you have studied the grammar, and you can read the subtitles perfectly fine. But when you turn those subtitles off, suddenly the sentences sound like one long, continuous stream of sound. You might ask yourself, why do they speak so fast? Why can I not hear the individual words? The answer, my friends, is often found in linking sounds. Native speakers do not speak word by word like a robot. Instead, they connect words together to create a smooth flow of speech. It is like water flowing down a river. It does not stop at every rock. It just keeps moving. Today, we are going to learn how to jump into that river and swim with the current. To begin our journey, let's look at the most common type of linking. This happens when a word ends with a consonant sound, and the next word begins with a vowel sound. This is the bread and butter of connected speech. Think about it for a second. When you say a word that ends in a consonant, your mouth is closed or restricted in some way. When you say a vowel, your mouth opens up. To make speaking faster and easier, native speakers move the consonant sound from the end of the first word over to the beginning of the next word. It is almost like the consonant jumps across the gap. We call this consonant to vowel linking. It is incredibly common, and you will hear it everywhere once you know what to listen for. Let me give you a very simple example to help you visualize this. Take the phrase, wake up. Individually, these are two distinct words. Wake ends with the sound ku, the K sound. Up begins with the sound the short U vowel. If you say them separately, it sounds like wake up. There is a little pause in the middle. But in natural speech, we do not pause. We take that K sound and we push it forward. It becomes wake up. Can you hear the difference? It almost sounds like a single word. The K has moved house. It has left the word wake and attached itself to the word up. This is what we want you to train your ears to hear today. It is not about speed, really. It is about rhythm. It is about connection. Now, let's meet our first character for today's story. Her name is Clara. Clara is a university student who is studying graphic design. She lives in a small apartment with a roommate. We are going to listen to a story about Clara's morning routine. As I tell you this story, I want you to listen carefully for those consonant to vowel links. I will speak naturally first, and then we will break it down together. Are you ready? Let's listen. Clara wakes up early in the morning because she has an exam at 9 o'clock. She gets out of bed and walks across the room to open the window. The sun is already shining. She looks at the blue sky and takes a deep breath. It is going to be a good day. She goes to the kitchen to make breakfast. She decides to cook an egg. She takes a pan out of the cupboard and turns on the stove. While the egg cooks, she makes a cup of coffee. The smell fills the small kitchen. She sits down at the table and looks at her phone. She has a message from her best friend, Lucas. Okay, did you hear how the words connected? Let's go back and analyze some specific phrases from Clara's story. First, I said, Clara wakes up. Here we have the exact same pattern we just discussed. Wakes ends with the S sound. Up begins with the U vowel. In natural speech, we say wakes up. The S jumps over. It sounds like ways up. Try to say that with me. Wakes up. It feels smoother, doesn't it? It saves energy. Your tongue doesn't have to stop and reset for the next word. You just keep the sound going. Next, I said she has an exam. This is another fantastic example. The word an ends with the N sound. Exam begins with the E sound. If you say an exam, it sounds broken. But Clara is in a hurry. She is thinking about her test. So she says, a nexam. The N sound slides right into the E. It sounds almost like the word next, but without the T. A nexam. This is crucial for understanding native speakers. Often, students think they are hearing a new word, but actually, they are just hearing two words linked together. If you didn't know the phrase, an exam, you might be confused. But now you know the secret. Let's look at another part of the story. I said, she decides to cook an egg. Here we have a double link. First, cookan. The K sound at the end of cook moves to the front of an. Cookan. Then, an egg. The N moves to the front of egg. A neg. Put it all together, and it sounds like cook an egg. That sounds very different from cook an egg, said word by word. When you are listening to a fast conversation, your brain needs to be ready for these changes. You need to expect that the final consonant will often jump to the next word. Let's practice this concept with a few more examples before we continue with the story. I want you to repeat these phrases after me. Do not worry about being perfect. Just focus on connecting the sounds. Smoothness is the goal. Here is the first one. Get out. Say it slowly. Get out. Now say it naturally, moving the T to the front of out. J-toot. It sounds like tote in the word tutu, but with a G at the start. J-toot. Very good. Now let's try hold on. The D sound moves. Hold on. It sounds like the name Don with an L before it. Hold on. Excellent work. Now let's return to Clara's story. She is in the kitchen, eating her breakfast. The story continues. Clara finishes her breakfast and puts her plate in the sink. She brushes her teeth and combs her hair. She looks in the mirror and smiles. She picks up her bag and leaves the apartment. She walks out of the building and walks to the bus stop. The bus arrives a few minutes later. She gets on the bus and sits by the window. As the bus moves, she looks out at the street. She sees a man walk into a shop. She sees a woman run across the park. Life is busy outside. Did you catch the links here? Let's look at walks out. Walks ends with the K sound, or technically the S sound if we look at the spelling, but in walks, the L is silent, so we have the K and S cluster. However, in walks out, the main linking sound we hear is the S connecting to the O. Walks out. It sounds like sout. Or, if we focus on the K sound from the root walk, it can be walkoot. Actually, in rapid speech, it blends, but let's look at an easier one. Walks to. No, let's look at gets on. Gets on. The T is the key here, or actually, in American English, that T often becomes a quick D sound, but let's stick to the standard linking for now. The T connects. Get sun. It sounds like get sun. Can you hear it? Here is a tricky one from the text. Run across. Run ends with N. Across begins with A. We say run across. The N sound glides right into the A. It sounds very fluid. Run across. This is why English can sound so melodic. It is because we are constantly connecting these sounds. It is like we are stitching the words together with invisible thread. Now, I want to introduce you to a slightly different aspect of linking, one that might be a bit surprising. This happens when a word ends in a consonant, and the next word begins with the same consonant, or a very similar one. For example, if I say black cat, do I say black, then stop, then say cat? Number 1. I hold the sound. I say blah, cat. I don't release the K sound twice. I just hold the K sound for a tiny bit longer, like a bridge, and then I release into the second word. It is not black cat. It is black cat. One long K sound. This is called gemination, or just holding the sound. Let's go back to our character, Clara, and her friend Lucas. Lucas sends her a text message while she is on the bus. Let's see what he says. Clara's phone buzzes. It is a message from Lucas. The message says, "Good luck on your exam today." Clara smiles. Lucas is always supportive. She types back, "Thanks, I will call you later." In this short interaction, we have a great example of holding sounds. Good luck. Good luck. Actually, here the D links to the L, which is different. But if we look at the phrase will call, we have the L at the end of will and the C at the start of call. This is not the same sound, so we link will call. But wait, let's look for a better example of the same sound. Let's imagine Clara is thinking about her day. She thinks, I have a bad dream. No, that doesn't fit. Let's say she thinks, I need to get 2 tickets. Here we have get 2, the T at the end of get, and the T at the start of 2. We do not say get 2, we say G2. We hold the T. We don't make 2 separate T sounds. We make one long T. This is very common in phrases like stop planning, bad day, or dark kitchen. It makes the speech flow much faster because your tongue stays in the same position. You don't have to move it away and then put it back. So, to recap what we have learned so far, we have talked about consonant to vowel linking, where the last sound of a word jumps to the beginning of the next word, like in wake up or an exam. We also touched briefly on what happens when sounds are the same, like in get to, where we hold the sound. These are the foundations of natural English speech. Without these links, your English will sound choppy, like a machine. With these links, your English will start to sound smooth and natural. Let's do a bigger practice segment. I am going to read a short paragraph about Lucas, Clara's friend. I want you to just listen. Do not repeat yet. Try to identify the links in your mind. Imagine you are a detective looking for clues. The clues are the connected sounds. Ready? Here is the story about Lucas. Lucas is a student at the same university as Clara. He studies biology. He loves animals and wants to be a vet. Every morning, he runs around the park to stay fit. He wears a red shirt and black shoes. He usually listens to music on his headphones. Today, he is worried about Clara. He knows the exam is hard. He hopes she studied enough. He decides to wait for her outside the exam hall. He stands in front of the big door and looks at his watch. Time passes slowly. He sees other students walk out of the hall. They look tired but happy. Finally, he sees Clara. She is smiling. She runs up to him and gives him a big hug. "I did it," she says. "It was easy." "Okay, detectives, how many links did you find? Let's break it down." Lucas is. Lucas is. The S connects to the I. Studies biology. Studies biology. Runs around. Runs around. Red shirt. Here we have D connecting to S. Read D shirt. Black shoes. Black shoes. Listens to. Listens to. Worried about. Worried about. Look at. Look at. Walk out. Walcoat. Did you hear how many there were? They were everywhere. This is why listening can be hard. It feels like the words are invisible. Now we are going to do a listen and repeat exercise. I will say a phrase. I will say it slowly first, with a small pause, so you can hear the separate words. Then I will say it naturally, with the linking sound. I want you to repeat the natural version. Let's start. Phrase 1, get out. Slow. Get out. Natural. J2, your turn. Good job. Phrase 2, come in. Slow. Come in. Natural. Come in. Your turn. Nice. Phrase 3, turn on. Slow. Turn on. Natural. Turn on. Your turn. Great. Phrase 4, pick it up. This has 2 links. Pick it up. Your turn. Very smooth. Phrase 5, a cup of tea. Notice cup of often sounds like cuppa. A cup of tea. Your turn. Excellent. You are doing really well. This kind of practice is exactly what you need to train your brain. When you hear J-toot, your brain should automatically map that sound to the words get out. It takes time. It takes repetition. But you are building those neural pathways right now. Let's move on to the next part of our story. Clara and Lucas are standing outside the exam hall. Clara is relieved. "I am so glad that is over," she says to Lucas. "Me too," Lucas replies. "I was nervous for you." They start to walk towards the cafeteria to get some lunch. The campus is busy. Students are everywhere. Some are sitting on the grass, reading books. Others are rushing to class. The air is warm. "What do you want to eat?" Lucas asks. "I could eat a horse," Clara laughs. "Let's go to the burger place." Listen to the phrase, glad that is. We link them. Glad that is. It flows together. What do you want to eat? In this question, the T in what is often dropped or changed to a stop, but the D in do connects to the Y in you. It sounds like what do I want, and want to becomes wanna. That is a specific reduction, which is a cousin of linking. We will talk more about reductions later. For now, focus on the consonant to vowel links. Eat a horse. Eat a horse. It sounds funny, but it is a great idiom. It means you are very hungry. Now, I want to tell you a secret. When I was learning languages, I used to hate linking. I thought it was messy. I wanted the language to be neat and tidy. I wanted every word to be in its own box. But then I realized language is not a box. Language is music. In music, notes flow together. If a piano player played a melody and stopped between every note, it would sound terrible. It would sound like a typing machine. But if the pianist lets the notes ring out and connect, it creates a beautiful song. English is the same. Linking sounds are what make English sound like a song. So, I want you to change your mindset. Don't fight the linking. Embrace it. When you listen to a podcast, or watch a YouTube video, or talk to a friend, try to catch the music. Try to hum the sentence. If you hum the rhythm of a sentence like, "I want to go home," you will hear the melody. The linking is just part of that melody. It helps the music flow. Let's try one more story segment before we move to the next major concept. This time, I want you to shadow me. This means I want you to speak at the same time as me. Do not wait for me to finish. Just try to follow my voice and my rhythm. We will use the story of Clara and Lucas walking to the cafeteria. Ready? Let's go. They walk into the busy cafeteria. The noise is loud. They look for an empty table. Clara points to a spot in the corner. Let's sit there, she says. They walk over and sit down. The chairs are comfortable. Lucas looks at the menu on the wall. The burgers look good, he says. Clara nods in agreement. She is thinking about her exam results. She knows she did well. She feels proud of herself. She looks out of the window. The sun is high in the sky. She takes a deep breath and smiles at Lucas. Thanks for waiting for me, she says. No problem, Lucas says. I am proud of you. Did you manage to shadow me? It is difficult, isn't it? It requires you to let go of the need to be perfect and just flow. It is okay if you missed a word or two. The goal is to get the rhythm. Did you say look for or look for? Did you say sit there or sitty there? These small details make a huge difference. Now, we are going to transition into a new, deeper level of linking. We are going to explore something even more subtle, something that often confuses B1 level learners. We are going to talk about what happens when one word ends with a vowel sound, and the next word also begins with a vowel sound. This is a very tricky area, but mastering it will unlock a whole new level of listening comprehension for you. You might think that vowels are easy. You just open your mouth and the sound comes out, right? Well, when two vowels meet in spoken English, it can be awkward. Your voice has to jump from one open sound to another open sound without a break. If you stop the sound, you get a glottal stop, which sounds choppy. Native speakers, however, prefer to keep the sound smooth. To do this, they insert a tiny, invisible sound between the vowels to bridge the gap. It is like building a tiny bridge so the sound can walk from one word to the next without falling into silence. There are two main types of these bridges, and today we will learn about the J bridge and the W bridge. Let's start with the /J/ bridge. This is the sound found at the beginning of the word yellow, or you. It is a quick, gliding sound. We use this bridge when a word ends in a vowel sound that is similar to the sound in C, or my. Specifically, if the word ends with an /I/ sound, like C, or an /AI/ sound like my, or an /EI/ sound like day, we often insert a little /J/ sound before the next vowel. It happens so fast that native speakers do not even realize they are doing it. Let me give you an example. Take the phrase, I agree. The word I ends with the AI sound. The word agree begins with the / sound. If you say, I agree, you are stopping the air. But a native speaker will say, I agree. Can you hear that tiny /Y/ sound slipping in there? It sounds like I agree. It is not a strong, stressed Y. It is just a gentle glide. It connects the two words like glue. Another common example is the phrase, the end. The ends with a vowel sound, and end begins with a vowel. We say, the yend. It rhymes with bend, but starts with the E. It is much smoother than the end. Let's bring our characters back to help us practice this. Clara and Lucas are sitting in the cafeteria. They have just finished their burgers. Clara is sipping her drink. Let's listen to their conversation. Pay attention to the vowels. Clara looks at Lucas and says, I am so happy we came here. Lucas nods. He says, me too. The food is great. Clara continues, I always enjoy eating out. It helps me relax. Lucas smiles. We should do it again, he says. Maybe next week? Clara agrees. Yes, next week works for me. I will check my schedule. Now, let's break this down. Clara said, I am. Listen to that. I yam. That is the /J/bridge. The /AI/ sound at the end of I slides right into the /A/ sound of am. It connects perfectly. If you say I am, it sounds robotic. I am sounds human. Then she said, the food. Here we have a vowel to consonant link, which we learned earlier, but look at the food is. Is starts with a vowel. So food ends in D, and is starts with I. That is consonant vowel. But let's look at I always. I ends in a vowel. Always begins with a vowel. We say, I yalways. That tiny Y helps us move from the open mouth of I to the rounded start of always. Let's try another one. I always enjoy. Enjoy starts with a vowel. So always ends with an S sound? No, always ends with a Z sound. But actually, the ending sound is a vowel glide for many speakers. But let's look at enjoy eating. Enjoy ends with the /OI/ sound, like in boy. That sound contains a little glide naturally. When we say enjoy eating, we say enjoy yating. The /J/bridge appears again because of the /OI/ ending. It is fascinating, isn't it? Your mouth naturally wants to make these connections. Now, let's move on to the second type of vowel bridge, the /W/bridge. This happens when a word ends in a vowel sound that involves rounding your lips, specifically sounds like I, you, as in blue, OU as in go, or AU as in now. When these rounded vowels meet another vowel, your lips are already round, so you naturally slide into a /W/ sound to get to the next word. It is like your lips are already shaped for the letter W, so you just use it. A perfect example is the phrase, go away. Go ends with the OU sound. Away begins with jine, sa. We do not say go away. We say go away. It sounds almost like the word go is followed by way. Go away. Can you hear it? That little /W/ sound acts as the bridge. Another very common example is do it. Do ends with /U:/. It begins with /I/. We say do it. It sounds like do it. In fact, for many learners, this sounds exactly like the word dwelt, but without the L and T. It is just a smooth connection. Do it. Let's go back to the story. Clara and Lucas are getting ready to leave. Clara stands up and says, "We really should go now." Lucas checks his phone. "You are right," he says. "I have to meet my group for a project." They pick up their trays and walk to the counter. Clara says, "So, who is in your group?" Lucas sighs. "It is just me and Sarah right now. We need one more person." Listen to the phrase, should go. Should ends with the /D/ sound. Actually, phonetically, it ends with a very soft sound, but the vowel before it is the /U/ sound, which is a rounded vowel. The lips are slightly round. Then go begins with a consonant /G/, so this isn't a vowel-vowel link. But look at go now. Go ends with /OU/. Now begins with /N/. That is a consonant link. Wait, let's find a /W/bridge in there. How about when Clara says, "So, who is in your group?" Look at who is. Who ends with the /U:/ sound. Is begins with /I/. This is a perfect spot for a /W/bridge. We say who whiz. It sounds like the animal hooves, but with a W sound instead of a V. Who whiz. Or look at you are right. U ends with the /U:/ sound. R begins with /:. We say you wear. It sounds like you wear. That little /W/ connects them. It makes the speech sound professional and smooth. Let's practice these bridges together. I am going to give you some phrases. I want you to focus on adding that tiny bridge sound. Do not stress it. Just let it happen naturally. First, the /J/bridge. I understand. Say, I understand. Feel the tongue rise slightly for that /J/glide. Next, the other day. Say, the other day. Good. Now, see it. Say, see it. Excellent. Now let's switch to the /W/bridge. Blue eyes. Say, blue eyes. It sounds like blue ways. Next, go in. Say, go win. It sounds like go win. And finally, you are. Say, you wear. Fantastic job. Understanding these bridges is not just about speaking, it is about listening. When you hear a native speaker say, I agree, you might hear it as one word, I agree. You might look in the dictionary for that word, but you won't find it. This is where confusion happens. But now that you know the secret, you can untangle the sounds. You can recognize that the /J/ or /W/ sound is just a bridge, and the real words are simply I and agree. This skill is vital for B1 listening because it helps you separate words in your head. Let's expand our story to practice recognizing these sounds in context. Clara and Lucas are walking out of the cafeteria. They are talking about Sarah. Lucas seems a bit stressed. Sarah is very smart, Lucas says, but she is a bit disorganized. I worry about the project. Clara puts her hand on his shoulder. Do not worry, she says. You are smart too. You can lead the group. Lucas smiles. Thanks, Clara. You always know what to say. That is what friends are for, Clara replies. I have to go to the library. I need to return a book. See you later. See you, Lucas says. In this short dialogue, there were so many bridges. Sarah is. Sarah is. That is a consonant-vowel link. But she is. She is. The /I:/ at the end of she links to is with a /J/sound. She is. Did you catch that? She is. And you always. You always. That is a /W/bridge. See you. See you. No bridge here because you starts with Y. But see you later. See you later. See you is pronounced see you. But wait, see you is often pronounced see ya in fast speech, where the /J/ connects to the vowel in ya. But strictly speaking, see you has a consonant Y. Let's look at see us. See was. We would use a /W/ there if we were saying see us, but see you is fine. Now I want to introduce a third very important concept. This is the disappearance of the letter H. In English, we have many small function words like he, him, her, his, have, and has. These words are usually not stressed in a sentence. Because they are not important for the main meaning, we often make them very short. We do this by dropping the H sound. We delete it. When the H is gone, the word begins with a vowel. And what happens when a word begins with a vowel? You guessed it. It links to the word before it. This is a huge secret of fluent speech. Native speakers rarely say, tell him. They say, tell him. They drop the H. It sounds like tell him. The word him sounds just like the end of the word swim. Tell him. If you are listening for the word him with a strong H sound, you might miss it completely. You might hear tell him and not realize it means tell him. Let's practice this disappearing H with our story. Clara is at the library. She walks up to the desk. The librarian looks up. Clara says, I need to return this book. Can you tell her it is for the history class? The librarian nods. Sure. Just leave it on the desk. Clara thanks her. She turns around and sees Sarah. Sarah is sitting at a table with a huge pile of books. Clara walks over. "Hey, Sarah," she says. "Is Lucas with you?" Sarah looks surprised. "Oh, hi, Clara. No, I haven't seen him yet. I was hoping to find him here." "Let's analyze this," Clara asked. "Can you tell her?" The word her loses its H. Teller. It sounds like teller, like a bank teller. Teller. Then Sarah says, "I haven't seen him." Seen him. The H in him disappears. Seen him. It sounds like seen him. I haven't seen him. This is extremely common. You will hear this all the time. Give him becomes give him. Tell her becomes tell her. Ask him becomes ask him. Let's try to visualize this. Imagine the H is a quiet person who is very shy. When the important verbs come along like tell or see or give, the H gets scared and runs away, leaving the vowel to connect with the verb. Give him. Tell her. It makes the sentence flow much faster. It saves energy. Instead of two distinct bursts of air for the H, we just have one continuous stream. Let's do a specific listen and repeat exercise for the disappearing H. I will say the phrase slowly, with the H, so you know the words. Then I will say it naturally, without the H linking it. You repeat the natural version. Ready? 1. Tell him. Natural. Tell him. Your turn. 2. Call her. Natural. Call her. Your turn. 3. Give him. Natural. Give him. Your turn. 4. Ask her. Natural. Ask her. Your turn. 5. Let him. Natural. Let him. Your turn. 6. Stop her. Natural. Stop her. Your turn. Great work. You are sounding more and more fluent with every repetition. Now, let's combine everything we have learned. We have consonant-vowel linking. We have vowel-vowel linking with /J/ and /W/. And we have the disappearing H. This is a lot to think about, but remember, you don't need to think about it when you speak. You need to think about it when you practice so that it becomes automatic when you speak. Let's go back to the library scene. Clara sits down next to Sarah. Sarah looks stressed. She has papers everywhere. "I am so confused about this project," Sarah admits. "I have no idea where to start." Clara picks up a paper. "Let me help you," she says kindly. "We can organize it together. First, let's look at the outline." Sarah smiles, relieved. "Thank you so much. You are a lifesaver." Clara laughs. "No problem. Let's get to work." Listen to "let me help you." "Let me" often becomes "lemme." That is a reduction. "Help you." The P sound in help often changes to a F sound before Y. "Help you." That is assimilation. But let's look for our links. "Let me help you." "Let me help you." "I am." "I yam?" So confused. So confused. The O in so links to the C. No, C is a consonant. Wait. So ends in a vowel. Confused begins with C. So the vowel meets a consonant. So confused. That is standard linking. But about it. About it. T to I. About it. Look at. Look cat. Start. Where to start. Where to. Where ta. Lifesaver. Just one word. Now, I want to give you a challenge. A listening challenge. I am going to read a short paragraph. I want you to close your eyes if you can, or just look away from the screen. Listen to the paragraph. Try to count how many times you hear a disappearing H. This is a game. Ready? Listen carefully. Lucas walked into the library. He saw Clara and Sarah. He walked up to them. "Did you find him?" he asked. Sarah shook her head. "No, I called him twice, but he didn't answer." Lucas sat down. "Maybe he is in the lab. I will ask her, the professor, if she has seen him." Clara looked at her phone. "I can text him for you," she offered. "Thanks," Lucas said. "Tell him to come here if he can." "How many did you find? Let's check." Find him to find him. Called him to called him. Ask her to ask her. Has seen him to has seen him. Text him to text him. Tell him to tell him. There were 6 instances. 6 times the H disappeared. If you were listening for the letter H, you might have missed all of them. But now that you know the rule, you can hear the full sentence. Your brain fills in the missing word because it makes sense in the context. This is why context is so important. Linking sounds are not just about sound. They are about meaning. When you hear tell him, your brain knows that tell is a verb that usually needs an object. Who do you tell? You tell a person. So im must be him. Your brain predicts the word before you even fully hear it. This is the power of top-down processing. You use your knowledge of grammar and vocabulary to help you decode the sounds. We have covered so much ground. We learned that vowels hate to be next to each other without a bridge. We learned that /I/ and /EI/ sounds build a /J/ bridge, like in I agree. We learned that /U/ and /OU/ sounds build a /W/ bridge, like in go away. And we learned that the letter H often disappears in small words like him and her, allowing them to link to the previous word. These are the secrets of the stream of speech. I want to leave you with one final story segment. This one is a bit faster and more natural. Don't worry about catching every word. Just let the flow wash over you. Listen for the music. Listen for the bridges. Listen for the disappearing H's. Clara, Lucas, and Sarah sat in the library for 2 hours. They worked hard on the project. They organized the papers. They wrote the introduction. Finally, Sarah closed her notebook. "I think we are done for today," she said. "I am exhausted." Lucas stretched his arms. "Me too, but I feel good about the work." Clara packed her bag. "I am going to go home and sleep," she said. "I need to wake up early again tomorrow." They all walked out of the library together. The sun was setting. The sky was orange and pink. "What a beautiful evening," Sarah said. "It really is," Lucas replied. "See you all tomorrow?" "Bye," Clara and Sarah said together. They walked in different directions, tired but happy. Did you hear I am to I am? Did you hear going to gonna? That is a reduction. Did you hear see you to see ya? Did you hear wake up to walk up? The English language is a river. It flows, it connects, it moves. You are doing an incredible job staying focused. This is difficult material. Most students never learn these rules. They just guess. But you are learning the code. You are unlocking the secrets. Now, we are going to look at some special cases. We will talk about what happens when T sounds change completely, becoming like a D or even disappearing. We will also look at linking with R sounds, which is very interesting for British and American accents. Let's start with the most famous sound change in American English, though you will hear it in other accents too. This is called the flap T or the tap T. Usually, the letter T is a sharp, distinct sound. You put your tongue behind your upper teeth and release a puff of air. Ta. But when a T sound finds itself stuck between 2 vowels, something magical happens. It gets lazy. Instead of hitting the roof of the mouth sharply, the tongue just taps it quickly. It sounds exactly like a fast D sound. This is why the word water does not sound like water. It sounds like wader. It is a flap. It is a tap. It creates a rhythm that is much smoother and bouncier. This rule applies not just to words, but to the connections between words too. This is crucial for linking. If a word ends with a T, and the next word begins with a vowel, and the word before the T was a vowel, well, we have a vowel T-vowel sandwich. In this sandwich, the T often turns into that light D sound. Let's take our favorite phrase, get out. We talked about linking the T to the vowel. J'ai tout. But in natural, fast speech, many speakers will say, get out. It sounds like get out. The T becomes a D. Can you hear the difference? Get out. It is not a hard, heavy D like in dog. It is a soft, quick tap. Get out. Let's bring our friends Clara, Lucas, and Sarah back for the final part of their story. They have finished their library session. It is the next day now. They are planning a small trip to celebrate the end of their exams. Clara is on the phone with Lucas. She is trying to organize the details. As you listen, try to catch those flap T sounds. Clara holds the phone to her ear. So, we are meeting at 9, right? She asks. Lucas's voice crackles through the speaker. Yeah, 9 is perfect. I will get a taxi. Clara nods, even though he cannot see her. Okay, I will get a taxi too. Actually, maybe we should meet at the station. It is easier. Good idea, Lucas replies. I will pick up Sarah on the way. She lives on my route. Perfect, says Clara. I will see you later. Do not be late. I never am, Lucas laughs. Did you hear the flap T in action? Let's break it down. Clara said, get a taxi. Get ends with T. A is a vowel, so we have a vowel T-vowel link. Get a taxi. It sounds like get a taxi. It is fast, it is efficient. Then she said, meet at. Meet ends with T. At begins with a vowel. Meet at. It sounds like meet at. Then Lucas said, pick up. That is a K sound, not a T. But then he said, on my route. No T there. Clara said, see you later. The T in later is between two vowels, A and E. Later. See you later. This is the classic flap T inside a single word. It makes the word flow better. Now, I want to clarify something important. This does not mean you have to speak like this. You can say water with a clear T, and you will be perfectly understood. In fact, in British English, the T is often much sharper. But for listening, you absolutely must know this rule. Because if you are waiting to hear a sharp T sound and you hear a soft D sound instead, your brain will get confused. You might think the speaker is saying a different word, but now you know the secret. When you hear get out, you know it is get out. When you hear meet at, you know it is meet at. You are decoding the language in real time. Let's practice this specific link. I will say the phrase with a sharp T first, then with the natural flap T. You repeat the natural one. Ready? 1. Get it. Sharp. Get it. Natural. G-dit. Your turn. 2. Put on. Sharp. Put on. Natural. Put on. Your turn. 3. Not at all. This is a triple link. No dadal. Your turn. 4. Wait a minute. Why da minute? Your turn. 5. Write a letter. Write da letter. Your turn. This is fun, isn't it? You are starting to sound like a native speaker. But we are not done yet. There is another thing the letter T likes to do. Sometimes it does not change into a D. Sometimes it just vanishes. It disappears completely. We call this a dropped T or an unreleased T. This often happens when the T is between two other consonants, or when it comes right before another consonant. It is just too much work to pronounce the T clearly when your mouth has to move to a completely different sound immediately. So, we hold the breath for the T, but we don't release it. Or, we just skip it. Let's look at the phrase next day. The word next ends with the consonant cluster KST. The word day begins with D. Pronouncing the T clearly requires your tongue to go up for the T, then come down for the D. That is a lot of movement. So, in fast speech, we drop the T. We say next day. It sounds like next day. The T is silent. Or take the phrase, just do it. We don't say, just do it. We say, just do it. The T is dropped. It makes the sentence much faster. Let's go back to the story. Clara is getting ready for the trip. She is packing her bag. She is talking to herself, making a list. Okay, I need my sunglasses, she thinks. I need a sweater for the evening. And I must not forget my charger. She packs everything carefully. Just in case, she thinks, I will take an umbrella. She looks at the weather forecast on her phone. It says, mostly sunny, with a chance of rain later. Great, she sighs. I hope it stays nice. Listen to the phrase, must not. The T in must is followed by the N in not. We often drop the T in must. Must not. Or we hold it. But look at just in case. Just ends in T. In begins with a vowel. Here, we might flap it. Just in case. Or we might drop it. Just in case. Both are possible. But look at mostly. The T is between S and L. Mostly. We often drop the T there too. It is subtle, but it changes the rhythm. Mostly, sunny. This dropping of the T is very common in words ending in set, feet, centimeters. Last week becomes last week. Best friend becomes best friend. Left turn becomes left turn. It is like the T is playing hide and seek. It is there in the spelling, but it is hiding in the pronunciation. For a B1 learner, this can be a nightmare. You see the word best, you expect to hear best, but you hear best. You think, did he say bet? No, he said best, but the T was invisible. Now, let's move on to a sound that we touched on briefly, but it deserves its own spotlight here. This is the linking R. This is very famous in British English, but it happens in American English too in different ways. In standard British English, if a word ends with the letter R, like car, and the next word begins with a vowel, the R comes back to life to link them. The car is here. It is not the car is here. It is the car is here. The R links them. In American English, the R is usually pronounced anyway, so the linking is natural. But what about words that do not have an R in the spelling? This is called the intrusive R. It is a bit controversial, but you will hear it all the time. It happens with words ending in a vowel sound like law, saw, or idea. When these words meet another vowel, some speakers, especially in certain accents, insert an R to link them. Law and order might sound like law and order. The idea is might sound like the idea rise. It is a linking mechanism. It is your brain trying to avoid the clash of two vowels, just like the /J/ and /W/bridges we learned about. While you might not need to use the intrusive R in your own speech, knowing it exists will save you a lot of confusion when you hear it. You won't be searching for a word that starts with R. You will know it is just a bridge. Let's bring our story to its climax. Clara, Lucas, and Sarah are finally on their trip. They have taken a train to the coast. The train is moving fast. They are looking out the window at the sea. It is a beautiful scene. The sky is blue. The water is sparkling. They feel free. The stress of the exams is behind them. Lucas points out the window. "Look at that," he says. "The sea is amazing." Sarah nods enthusiastically. "I know. I have never seen it so blue." Clara is sitting back, relaxing. "It was a good idea to come here," she says. "We needed a break." Lucas opens a bag of chips. "Does anyone want a chip?" he asks. Yes, please, says Sarah. Pass me one. Lucas hands her the bag. Careful, he laughs. Don't drop them on the floor. Let's analyze this dialogue for our final review. Lucas said, Look at that. Consonant to vowel. Look how that. Sarah said, Seen it. Seen it. Consonant to vowel. Clara said, Good idea. This is a great one. Good ends with D. Idea begins with a vowel. Good idea. But wait, did you hear an R? Some speakers might say, idea rise. Clara said, we needed a break. Needed a. Flap T? Need a break. The T in needed is a flap. Needed a. Lucas said, Wanta? Wanta or Wanda? Flap T. Wanda chip. Sarah said, pass me. No link needed. Lucas said, careful. No link. Drop them. P to thief. Dropeth them. It is everywhere. It is constant. The linking sounds are the heartbeat of the sentence. Without them, the sentence dies. With them, the sentence lives and breathes. And now, you can hear that heartbeat. I want to do one final long listening practice. This will be a monologue. I want you to imagine you are listening to a podcast or an audiobook. I will speak at a natural, slightly fast speed. I want you to just listen. Do not worry about analyzing every single link right now. Just let your ears get used to the flow. Trust your brain. You have learned the rules. Now, let your subconscious do the work. I will tell you the end of the story. The train arrived at the station. Clara, Lucas, and Sarah stepped out onto the platform. The air smelled like salt and seaweed. It was fresh and cool. They walked out of the station and headed towards the beach. The town was small and charming. There were colorful houses along the street. Flowers bloomed in every window box. They found a small cafe near the water and ordered ice cream. They sat outside, watching the seagulls fly overhead. This is the life, said Lucas, licking his ice cream. We should do this every weekend. Sarah laughed. If only we could, she said. But we have to go back to reality tomorrow. Clara took a photo of her friends. At least we have this moment, she said, and we have great photos to remember it by. They spent the rest of the day walking on the sand, collecting shells, and talking about their dreams. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of purple and gold, they knew they had made a memory that would last forever. It was the perfect end to a perfect day. That was a beautiful story, wasn't it? I hope you could understand most of it. I used every single technique we have discussed in this series. I used consonant to vowel linking in, stepped out. Stepped out. I used vowel bridges in the air. The year. I used flaps in headed. He did. I used clusters in looked at. Look at. And I used the rhythm and flow of natural speech. You have trained your ears to hear these things. You are no longer a beginner. You are on your way to fluency. We have covered a tremendous amount of ground in these 3 parts. We started with the simple idea of consonants jumping to vowels. We moved on to the elegant bridges of /J/ and /W/ connecting vowels. We uncovered the mystery of the disappearing H. And today, we unlocked the secrets of the flap T, the dropped T, and the link in R. These are the tools you need to understand native speakers in the real world. Not the slow, artificial English of a textbook, but the messy, fast, musical English of the streets, the movies, and the podcasts. Now, I have a challenge for you. I want you to go out and find a video online. It can be a movie trailer, a news clip, or a song. I want you to listen to just 1 minute of it. Listen for the links. Can you hear a consonant jumping? Can you hear a disappearing H? Can you hear a flap T? Try to transcribe what you hear. Write it down. Then, check the subtitles or the lyrics. Did you get it right? You will be surprised how much easier it is now. Before we go, let's have one final review of the key sounds we learned today. Repeat these sentences after me one last time. Focus on making the connection smooth. 1. Turn on the light. Turn on the light. 2. I agree with you. I agree with you. 3. Go away. Go away. 4. Tell him the truth. Tell him the truth. 5. It is a good idea. 'Tis a good idea. 6. See you later. See you later. Excellent work. You have done an amazing job. I am so proud of your effort. Remember, learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. It takes time. It takes patience. But you have the knowledge now. You have the map. You just need to keep walking the path. Keep listening. Keep practicing. Keep linking those sounds. This concludes our special series on linking sounds. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you found it enjoyable. If you liked this series, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to English in Fluency and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. We have so much more to learn together. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for spending this time with me, Alex. You are the reason we do this. Until next time, keep practicing, stay curious, and most importantly, enjoy the journey. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.